Can you turn someone's phone face down if they're getting distracting notifications? If questions like this have crossed your mind, then you're in good company. Today we'll be taking a closer look at some of the daily habits and social conventions that make up the monotony of life. Let's take ages oscillating between whether to clean up a spill with a sponge or a paper towel. Grab your knitting needles and a blanket because it's time for three old friends to sit around and sew a new patch into their quilt of friendship. So join me, Dion, under the covers with Christian.
Welcome to Patchwork.
And Josh.
Welcome to Patchwork.
So before we get started, last week I had some quick food, some fast food, before we came to recording, and I noticed that I got an orange juice because I wanted to save the planet. I got an orange juice, but I realised I couldn't drink it because it was reconstituted. We won't go into the detail of that.
You got an orange juice because you wanted to save the planet.
Yeah, that was a joke. I guess it was it wasn't Coke. It was an orange juice made by the Coca-Cola
I
company.
remember how disappointed you were as well that it was a reconstituted orange juice.
Yeah, not fresh, which I should have known. But anyway, I realised, my stomach can't handle this. I'll give it to Josh. And Josh gladly had it. There was no money that was changed.
It was going to go in the bin otherwise, so I was like, sure.
Did you tell Josh that you offered it to me first and I had quite a number of sips?
No.
what?
No, I didn't.
Are you serious?
I didn't. I didn't know you had sips.
This is information I need.
I had no idea that you had sips. but
You watched me sipping.
Did I have to tell Josh that I offered it to you, and
Yes.
even if you didn't have sips? No.
No, but
no.
I had sips.
Okay, apologies. He had sips.
Great.
But anyway, little did I know that Josh then went to the same quick meal place today and got a drink, and I noticed that there was some little competition thing, which made me think, was there a little competition thing on the drink that I gave to Josh?
There was a little competition on the thing you gave to me. Yes.
And so, Josh, when you peeled back that little competition thing, did you win anything?
Ooh, I was an instant winner of $15 credit at some bullshit thing.
Were you actually?
Yeah.
Well, you weren't a winner.
Which made me think, if that was a big prize, whose prize was it?
Let's say it's a car. Let's say, actually, scale doesn't actually matter in this.
Yeah, because you can halve a car as well, so that one's easy.
The point being, you could have peeled off before you gave it to me.
No, but I didn't know. I didn't even notice it.
Well, that's your fault.
No, but we're friends.
Sorry, you didn't notice the completely unique branding of Uno all over the cup.
No, do you know what? I did notice it, but I forgot to peel it off. Does that change it?
If you'd called me up instantly, oh, mate, I forgot to peel it off. Could you please peel it off and tell me what I won?
Oh, wait a second.
You've given over everything at that point. This isn't a scratchy or something. You've given over everything. You had your chance.
But I bought it. It's mine.
You had your chance to peel. You chose to give me everything.
I just wanted a second chance.
Would you have been... That's Monopoly. Would you have been upset if Josh had given you the rubbish back to deal with?
Why do you ask, Christian?
Well, I'm curious because once it's his, right? Like the rubbish and all.
This is not finders keepers. It's Uno. It's different to Monopoly and
Look
finders
at this
keepers.
loser over here weeping.
No, I just think that if Josh would have won that money, he's barely entitled to any of it, let alone all of it.
Really?
Surely in that situation, you might go for half, but I reckon it was mine. I just gave it to him. I lent
you
him the
just
drink.
gave it to
no,
me.
I just lent him the drink to...
That's true. I reckon what Dion was offering you, Josh, were the contents of the vestibule.
Great.
He had the chance. I completely agree. If it was like some weird online thing and you never saw it and you never touched it, I might agree with you. But you've had the thing in your hands. You had the potential to rip it off.
Josh, but for Dion purchasing that orange juice,
Great.
you would never have seen $15 credit to wherever you got credit to.
Or been hydrated for the day.
Yeah.
Does that matter?
Of course it matters.
Why?
Because the next unsuspecting victim would have been the winner of $15
So
credit.
at any point in the continuum of time after Dion hands something over, he's allowed to request parts of it back, is he?
No.
No? Okay. Now you're changing your argument.
I'm not when... actually, yes. Just because of how much of a dickhead you look like when you said that.
So, Christian, the other day when I was at your place, you had your phone on the table and I was trying to get some bit of patchwork done. Oh, we've never done that pun before. That's great.
Yeah, that's been in front of us the whole time.
I was trying to get some work done and the notifications on your phone just kept on popping up. And it got to the point where it was very annoying and very, very distracting. So what I did in that moment, you may recall, is I took your phone.
Yes, you
and
did. I do remember.
And I put it upside down. And I
Hated that, by the way.
Power move.
And
Yeah.
I was kind of okay with that because I've noticed it a lot. You get a shitload.
I love that Dion's like, and I was okay with that.
But I've noticed that you get a lot of notifications, and
Sure.
and sometimes your sound is on, which is absolute hell. Do I in that moment am I able to take the liberty to flick the silent switch on or turn the phone upside down? Because, and I'll just say this, because it's very, very difficult in that moment to come across as an easygoing kind of like say it in a nice way. Then again, it's turning in my head and I'm thinking, it's actually pretty easy. You can kind of go, hey, do you mind if I put your phone upside down? That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Instead of grabbing across the table and flipping the phone yourself.
Excuse
which
me.
is incredibly...
what emotive language are you using? Grab and flip.
How would you describe what you did?
Bait and switch, grab and flip.
It was very passive-aggressive.
It wasn't meant to be, but I also think that as a phone owner, you have a responsibility to not have light emitting from your phone all the time. We're trying to get shit done.
So your issue was the fact that the light kept going off and distracting you, not with the number of notifications?
I know a couple of issues. So that's an ancillary point, the number of notifications. But yeah, it was more that was a distraction. It's just like having a little light flickering on the table or a phone.
Can I posit that what upset you was that I've allowed myself to be in a position where I'm constantly getting notifications?
That is a sub-element of that for sure.
I don't know. I reckon that's top element.
You reckon that's top element?
No,
Josh,
I'm
is that
with
top
Dion.
of the elements?
I'm with Dion that it is very distracting, and I have this with my brother a lot when we're doing writing for Game Boys and stuff, where we'll be sitting around and his phone, like he gets a lot of work calls and messages and stuff. But there are times when I'm okay with it when he's checking it all the time, but when he leaves it sitting there and it's buzzing off and not chiming off. It's chiming off.
Interesting.
A vibrator I don't mind. A loud vibrator on a table's hell.
Yep.
But when it's constantly going, I've been like, I've at least said, can you turn that down, please? And I've said, can you just turn it down? If you need to see it all the time, it's very loud.
I just wonder if in a social situation, can we have an expectation on friends that there won't be something that's distracting us from being in that moment? Another example, we were at the footy and you were typing, and I was writing messages as well. But I think it comes back, I wish it was 100 years ago, where Alexander Graham Bell, that was the only phone that was around. And that was the only phone. If you wanted to be distracted at football or a soccer game, presumably they had back then.
You'd be dozens of pigeons flying in every 2 minutes.
But I think it's that craving for, and I have for myself, for just wanting that social time with friends to not have those added distractions.
Yep, I think you're reasonable in reaching across the table because I know that it goes off too often, and I hate the fact that I'm trying actively now to keep it in my pocket. It's habit to sit down, pull it out, and have it face up.
But it was not equally as distracting to you, Christian.
I've recognized that I am now actively trying to ignore it.
And is it? Are you chiming? Are you chiming or are you vibing?
No, neither. It doesn't vibe nor chime.
Oh, it's just light.
It's just light.
Yeah, which is there's a part of that that's even more unnerving. But
that is a bit sus, isn't it? I've not really gone the complete silent with the lights.
Can I posit something? I think notifications are destroying the world. I think that they are the most harmful thing. I reckon turn them all off.
Yeah.
You don't need them. If you want something, go in there and get it.
Yep.
If you want if you want bread, go to the supermarket.
Because honestly, the only thing you need a notification for is a phone call. That is the only thing that is urgent and pressing at that time.
Yep.
Everything else can wait till you're ready.
Yeah.
Because if that was the standard, everyone goes, well, I have to call if I want to get in touch with him right now. And I did that to you, Christian, the other day. I messaged you about a thing, and I called you, and then you texted back straight away, like, on the tram, what's up?
Yeah.
And so you got the call, and you went, I need to deal with this right now.
Hey, what do you think of that? What do you think of Christian not answering calls
I do the same.
on
It's
trams?
great. I love
Really?
it. Yeah, very happy with it.
But can't you have a very, very soft conversation
Not
on the
worth it.
tram?
I
Not
don't-
worth it.
I don't
I
No,
love
it's
that.
not.
I also don't have a good soft voice.
Oh,
Like I've had a lot of people when I tried that on a tram go, can't hear you, and I hate being told that I can't be heard.
Can we just do a little tester of your tram voice? So say we're riding on the tram.
Sure.
Christian, your phone rings. rings.
Tram sound would be great.
Sure.
We'll get a dig. The old earbuds dig.
Earbuds, Melbourne's podcast network.
So we're on the tram, your phone rings and you pick it up. What's your... Oh, it's not that quiet.
Was see, I don't have it. Okay, wait. Let me try it again. Phone calls. Hey, I'm just on a tram.
Oh my word.
What's yours, Dion?
Ring. Hey, I'm happy to talk. I'm just on a tram at the moment, though.
Way better. So much better control.
You know what it might be? I reckon it's a bit of bass.
Do you know what the issue is as well? Is that I think that the timbre, is it timbre?
Timbre of your voice?
Of my voice matches the drone of the tram.
Isn't that...
It's like
listen,
noise cancelling.
yeah, it's like I'm on the tram.
Do you know what's great? I'm just thinking I think later in the show we're doing that sort of that ad read. I love that we go around in a circle, we each do our voice and then we play the music and do our best tram voice over the music.
But going back to the original point, I think that it's okay, Dion, in that context that you reached across the table because it was obviously annoying you as much, but you didn't want to break the rhythm of what was happening.
Good point. That's
so
great.
you were both sort of quietly working.
I reckon, yeah. And I was just
But you're very good friends, I think. That's key, right?
Well, I don't know.
You wouldn't do that to a you wouldn't do it in another situation.
Could you ask, say you're at a coffee shop and a stranger sitting next to you and you're both kind of working, could you ask them to, hey, can you put that on silent, please?
What do you reckon?
Yeah, if they're not dealing with it, if they're just letting it go off by itself and it's really throwing you, surely...
Can I just do a PSA as well? I hope everyone knows this. If your phone rings, you can press down volume and it shuts it up and it doesn't hang up on the call.
Yeah.
People presume the only way, like, well, I don't want to say I've hung up on them, so I'll let it ring out. Just press volume down and it all goes quiet.
Thank you, Josh. One thing, Josh, that I've noticed that you are not willing to do is ever relinquish control of your phone to someone else.
Interesting.
So often, if I'm
Very
showing
rare.
if I'm showing a photo or video to someone, and I like to hold my phone too because there's something about I'm showing you this.
Yeah, there's porn on it.
Well, yeah. Don't swipe left. But if I see them gesture for control of the phone, I'll relinquish it because you don't want to seem like a freak.
You know what I do though? I now, if I do relinquish control and hand it over, I put it on Do Not Disturb beforehand. Because is it the most awkward thing? And I'd love to know what you guys do. If you're holding someone else's phone, the notification slides down.
Yeah.
Are you reading that?
100%. You have to be very careful about what your eyes are doing.
Yeah. Are you reading the deal?
Yes, 100%.
Really? I make a really strong effort to ignore it and flick it away as quick as possible.
So the way I get it is I reckon the moment it comes down, you get a quick flick up because by the time they've recognized that you might look, you're already back down on the content.
Do you mean to dismiss it?
No. You look. Real quick,
you look.
and then you pretend like you haven't looked, and then they dismiss it, and you're like, sorry, I'm just on a tram.
I'm just checking notifications on the tram.
But it is tough, like when you're like you sometimes.
I'm surprised you both look, to be honest.
What?
What do you mean?
I'm surprised you. What?
It's pretty intrusive.
Josh, let me describe to you the scene that I witnessed the other night. We were in our living room. Someone wanted to look at a video on Josh's phone. And they gestured to control it. And Josh, which was like, no, I'll hold it for you. I'll even get the angle right. What angle do you want it on?
Yeah.
For the pure sake of not letting someone hold your phone,
I don't
you
trust
offered
them.
to control the angle.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. You don't trust how they're going to use it, which I think is kind of reasonable.
And I'm caseless. Well, you know this. I'm caseless.
Oh.
No case.
There's
No
the
case.
alibi. There's the alibi. That's it, isn't it? Bullshit.
They were sitting on a couch, Josh. You may remember some of the old Patchwork episodes where we used to do ad reads. We've stopped that, obviously, because we want you guys to have a more pleasurable experience.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah, that's the reason, yeah.
But we loved doing the ads because it was quite fun. So what we've decided to do is to make up our own ads. So what I'd like you guys to do, I've sent you both the slogan for this company. I'd love for you to give it your best slogan ad read. The winner will get to do the full ad. Dion, would you like to go first?
Sure. If it ain't a Wainwright, it ain't a hose.
Okay.
Not bad.
Confident. Not
Yeah.
good, but confident.
Strong start.
Yeah.
If it ain't a Wainwright, it ain't a hose.
That is more in line with what I was thinking. That kind of sarcastic.
How about you, Christian?
If it ain't a Wainwright, it ain't a hose.
Questioning at the end there.
It's not an ad. It's like a.
Yeah, but think about it in the context. This is at the end.
I thought you were a bit too questioning at the end.
Okay.
It was a bit too high. Dion?
Should I use some of Josh's inflection at the end? If it ain't a Wainwright, it ain't a hose.
That's the same as the first one.
Yeah.
You've kind of gone the roller coaster up and down there.
I'm not sure that I like the character that you're forming as well.
It sucks because I really want to do the ad. I really want this job.
I think we're salt of the earth. We're gardeners. We're in the muck. You got to drop that register down and really get in there.
Wait, so salt of the earth,
Yeah.
gardeners, soil.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
slugs. Yeah.
I
started with that.
Josh is really in character.
I tell you what, if you can do it, we'll give you the win.
Okay.
That's how sarcastic Josh is that he started with his nostrils.
All right, here we go. If it ain't a Wainwright, it ain't a hose.
Yeah, I don't want to do another one.
Give it to the man.
Josh, well done. Give us the full ad for Wainwright Hoses.
Watering your garden shouldn't require you to put on bathers. When you buy a Wainwright hose, you say goodbye to bursts, you say goodbye to kinks, but most importantly, you say hello to our advanced flow control sensors. Made with 100% recycled polycarbo flexi lace, our guarantee is that if your hose breaks, we'll replace it for free. Because as you know, if it ain't a Wainwright, it ain't a hose.
So a few patches ago, you might remember that I told the story of my mum and dad overseas and my dad wanting to buy a leather jacket and bargaining it down like crazy and basically getting to the point where at the end of the bargaining process, he said to the stall owner, I actually don't want the jacket anymore, and ended up getting sort of chased down the street. Now, that was funny, but the truth is also funnier because my mum during the week sent me an email in relation to this story, and she basically said that the story that I told never actually happened and that I had concocted two different stories that I'd previously heard in my childhood into this one story. So the first story was back in the 1970s when my parents were in Florence and spent quite a bit of time there. Apart from admiring artworks and architecture at each corner, they also enjoyed exploring various markets, including some that were dedicated to leather goods. One day on the way to their pension, they walked along an exclusive strip of designer label shops where my mum spotted a beautiful pair of boots displayed in the shop window. They walked in, my mum tried them on, but when they noticed that they were 65,000 lira or approximately $55 to $60, she sort of said it was well beyond their budget. My dad thought that considering the shop was ready to be shut for siesta, it would be an easy chance to close a deal. But he had no luck. No bargaining in exclusive shops such as Bruno Magli per Giuliano di Firenze. I've got Christian. Do you want to give it a crack if you want? Capricciosa was going to happen. His last attempt was to suggest that they had in fact seen similar boots at the market for 15,000 lira.
Great.
Not surprisingly, the shopkeeper suggested for them to go back to the market and get the boots there.
Go get them, mate.
Disappointed, my parents walked back to their pension for a siesta. My mum wrote in the email, after their nap, she said, "Your dad told me that he could hear a knock on our door and if I could go and check. I didn't hear anything, but then when I checked, there was nobody at the door except a large box. To my surprise and delight, the box contained the boots I had seen earlier."
What?
So sometime during the afternoon, while my mum was napping, my dad had snuck out, went back to the shop, no bargaining or anything, and so touched was my mum that my dad was so eager to please her that they apparently decided to reduce the price from 60,000 lira to 50,000 lira.
Oh, nice.
So that was really nice. So that was one story. Not necessarily funny, but one story.
That's very lovely.
The second, and I love in this email that my mum sent me, she changed the word story to incident, which is so funny and it's so good. The second incident occurred in Morocco on our way to Casablanca. Your dad secured a job as a doctor on a ship. And this basically...
It sounds like he's like a costume private eye or something.
And this allowed my parents to cruise throughout various parts of Europe, including to Casablanca in Morocco. As my mum tells it, in those days, the 1942 film Casablanca with Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart ranked amongst one of our favourites. But before we arrived in Casablanca, the ship had a brief 30-minute stopover at a market in a nearby port. Prior to disembarking, all the ship's passengers were briefed about the shopping etiquette and how, since the prices were arbitrarily made up, bargaining was seen as fun and part of the norm and the practice. Needless to say, your dad was really looking forward to it. While looking through the stalls, I soon spotted a long red evening dress, which I wanted for my sister. The price attached was around $50 US. Your dad only had $9 US in his wallet, and in Morocco, no one was interested in Australian dollars.
So your mum just took a nap on the side of the street and hoped for the best.
So apparently my dad kept going back and forth bargaining with this guy for the next half an hour. And in the meantime, the half an hour was up and everyone was back on board the ship except for my dad, this big, massive cruiser. Because he was the ship's doctor, the ship could not depart. By now, the ship's horn could be unmistakably heard. Finally, the dress price was settled. $9 US.
Hey.
Payment was made and the stall owner threw the dress to Dad across the counter. It was only when your dad asked if he could have a bag for the dress that the guy was so enraged that he started chasing after Dad, who was by now running along the tarmac, dragging the dress along the ground, whilst being cheered on from the decks by the passengers. My mum watched in disbelief. On a side note, my mum rounded the email by saying, "My sister donated her red dress to a local op shop last Monday." And that's it. That's it.
50 years later.
50 years later.
Wow, $9 US.
$9 US. Who knows what it's worth now?
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to.
Hi, sir. Can I help you?
Yeah, sorry. So just I'm trying to use this computer to search. It says you can search
Sorry,
for what you've got in the library.
Sorry?
So it says if I use the keyboard and I hit enter, that I'll be able to search the entire library's database.
And you've brought one in?
No, I'm at your computer. That's where we're standing.
Are you?
Are
Sorry,
we not?
I'm just going to ask my manager. I think we all keep our voices down, but we're in the library. Bit of respect. But I think I've got Google in here. Is this?
No, I'm not Google. You're Google.
I'm Google.
Sorry, can I just... What seems to be the problem here, sir?
Shh. Sorry. I am so sorry. I am just trying to search to find a particular item within this library.
So just quickly, before we get into what that item is, we're meant to keep our voices down, but we can hardly hear you.
Could you try a little bit more bass?
I think what might be easier, if you just type out what you want on the screen.
Yep, okay. So I'll start with the P. So that's a P. Next is O.
I don't think we...
Then it's
Look,
an R
we
and
have
an
P.
N. So that full word is pornography.
We don't have pornography in this library. But if you see the big black curtain over there, if you just go through that, there's a whole other library filled with it.
And there's a computer that I'll be able to search?
Absolutely.
Really, really good. You know what's really, really good? Really, really good. You know what's really, really good?
We love hearing you're really good, so make sure that you jump onto our social media every fortnight. You can jump on every day if you like, but just make sure that every Friday fortnight you're jumping on for our Really Good Friday, because the best really good in the comments will get the chance to be read out here on the show. For example, Josh.
You know what Sarah Valella thinks is really good? When an oncoming car lets you know there's a speed camera ahead by flashing their headlights at you.
Really good.
Really
Really
good.
good.
Really good.
And you know what Johanna Rose Fulton thinks is really good? When a new show drops the whole season at once on a streaming service you already own.
Oh, really good.
Really good.
Can I just quickly add another really good from myself? You know what Christian Pizzasali thinks is really good? A strong hyphenated surname.
Really good.
Really good. And do you know what Jade Lornick thinks is really good? When you walk through a really windy area with an umbrella and your umbrella doesn't break.
Really good. Really good. Really Thank you so much for listening to Welcome to Patchwork for another week. I think the best intro I've done is the robot. Thank you very much for listening to Welcome to... So I'm going to do it again. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honour to be in your ears or around them. Christian, what do we do during the week? What sort of stuff do we like doing?
I would encourage everyone to jump, if you haven't liked our social media pages, jump on and do that. But there's also a new way to get patchwork in your life. You can join our Discord. If you don't know what a Discord is, it's basically just a big chat client. So you can have direct messages between us and all your new patchwork friends. We're having a lot of fun on there. To be honest, Josh is having a lot of fun on there. I don't know really how to use it yet.
It's just a nice informal way if you want to chat to us throughout the week. It's there's no pressure on it. It's just really nice people chatting about stuff in the show. It's really great.
Yeah. And so, go to our Instagram profile. You can grab that link to our Discord as well as Patreon. And thank you so much to patrons as well. We're having a lot of fun with the bonus patches, actually. We recorded a bonus patch, Josh, that Josh came up. We worked on a sketch called Judge Baby, which we haven't done before. And
that's coming up for patrons soon.
Oh,
yes.
Good.
And also, huge helps to the show. Share the show with a friend. Tell a friend. Helps us out massively. And jump on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. Give us a rating. That helps heaps as well to help us jump up the charts. Massively appreciated.
And as we do every week, we sew a new patch into our quilt of friendship. Josh, what patch did you sew into our quilt this week?
Thank you, Dion. My patch this week is your dad asking the cruise ship to stop blowing its horn and to go on silent. Christian, what patch did you sew this week?
Thank you, Josh. This week I sewed into my patch you grabbing Dion's phone, peeling off the screen protector, and then claiming that the phone inside is now yours.
Great.
And Dion, what did you sew into your patch this week?
Just the one patch this week, babe. My patch this week is Josh peeling back the sticker on a drink, revealing he's won first prize of 65,000 lira, which he can redeem only for Wainwright hoses. Thank you very much for listening to Welcome to Patchwork for another week. I've been Dion.
I've been Josh.
And I've been Christian.
Goodbye.
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 Sorry, just keep it.
No, conjunctivitis. I've had this for a couple of days. Conjunctivitis would have started to congeal by now. So I've just got some leaky eyes.
That's all. It's just some leaky eyes, Dion. Don't worry about
fine.
it. Just got some leaky eyes.
Sorry.
You just got some leaky eyes, mate. It's fine.
Hey?